Hey, what is up guys? It's me again, Rizogami here. Today we are back with Marvel Avengers video game. In this video we are going to talk about the Black Panther and the new UI. So yesterday the developer already did a live streaming to explain how and what exactly the new UI is and the new mechanism to upgrade your items and gears and etc. So without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we?
Um, so with Black Panther, you'll be able to see his menu theme. Um, it's personally, I know people on my team's favorite. It's very like has a very crisp, monotone, classic style to it. Um, and so with this, we're going to use Black Panther to kind of show off the thing that we're really excited about is gear. So when you highlight the first slot before we dive in, highlighting it, you can see that you can do just like you've done before. You know, there's options. You can equip your best directly from here. You can manage your gear now, and you can equip gear. And there's a reason for the two differences, and I'll get into kind of what this is setting us up for and why it's important to kind of enhance what managing gear means. And then another exciting thing is because this menu is now grid based, meaning everything is kind of nicely organized and in line with each other, this helps support D-pad movement. So I know there's folks, I'm one of them, that sometimes cursors can be hard to navigate with. And so one of the things I wanted to make sure is like having this kind of gridded layout allows our D-pad to actually be usable, and you can kind of traverse through this menu. And if you want to kind of show that off by just kind of clicking around with the D-pad, you can kind of just easily go around, go up and down, and you can move around to the different menus. And then the next thing that I kind of want to dive into is, okay, so what did we do and change about managing gear? And so when we dive into hitting square to dive into manage gear, you're going to see your menus for your gear items have been put in a state that does something really exciting. And so it's the things that you guys have all been asking for a while. And if you want to highlight the first gear item in the list, and we'll talk about the items here, is now we have lock. And so one of the biggest features that I know you all have been wanting is to be able to lock a piece of gear so you don't destroy it by accident. This, for me, had happened, and I know that it can really be devastating if you accidentally delete something that you were really excited and you really wanted to keep and not lose. And so you can go through and lock as many of the items in your bag. The other thing you might notice is that we increased the actual size of the amount of gear you can carry. Instead of 9, it's 11 per slot. So we've increased the amount of gear that you can actually carry and manage. And then another thing that we added is if you want to unlock everything real quick. And then once we get everything unlocked, we're going to show another feature that I know, I mean, you've kind of gotten little hints by seeing the detailed panels, but is you can now mark individual things to dismantle. And so you can now use the left trigger to mark. So you can go through and mark randomly whatever ones you want. So we'll just mark like 2 or 3 of them. And now you can then mass dismantle those 3. And that is, I know, something that we've all really been excited about and that people have wanted. And then the cool thing is you're still in this managed state. So now if we can then use the R1 to tab to the range category, the thing that this is exciting is you can quickly tab between every category. No more trying to finesse with the cursor to highlight the slots to get the, highlight state. You can quickly just tab between all of your different categories, keep it in the managed state, and you can quickly delete things, move things, and upgrade the ones you want and everything, or lock the ones you want. So the thing I want to show staying on the range category is if we actually go in and unmark that one real quick, is that one of the other quality of life features is, hey, if you want to finesse and mark specific things to do mass dismantle, or if you're just like, my whole entire bag of stuff, I'm ready to dismantle all of it. Another quality of life feature that we did is if you want to start dismantling something and if you continually hold down the trigger, it will do consecutive deletions, meaning it will go from the next item to the next item to the next item. So that way we've increased the speed of dismantling multiple pieces. As you can see, and we can leave some of them there.
I'll leave some of them.
And so that way, again, this is allows people in their different play styles is that they have their favorites that they can lock. So we make sure that that doesn't get deleted. But there's sometimes when you've moved your things that you cared about that you locked, and you can put those in your locker. But this allows you to quickly just empty out your entire bag that you carry around at all times, and which is really exciting. And that was not something that was supported before, as you all know. And so an additional feature, if we want to tab back to Melee, is another feature that we added is moving items. So one of the things that as you play, we wanted to allow you to have access to your locker at all times. And that has not been a thing. And so previously, the only way you could access your locker is post missions or in being located in one of the outposts, so you could access your locker. This allows you to go and highlight a piece of gear, and you can mark it for moving it. So we can mark 2 items. So you would use right trigger. So left is to destroy, right is to move. And now you can move those 2 items. So if you hold it down, you'll see that they will get transferred and move to your locker. Now you're like, oh, I moved those to the locker. I didn't mean to. I want to get them back from the locker. It's actually pretty simple. If you hit the circle button, it will now switch from manage state to you're actually currently equipped. And as you can see, it's highlighting the inventory locker button right there. We added a shortcut to the locker. So you can now access that. And if we want to hit to X to view the locker, it will take you directly to your locker, and you can see the 2 items that you transferred. And if you were like, no, I want those back in my actual inventory, you can go over it, and then you can simply just hit the trigger, the right trigger, and it will just throw it back into the inventory. And now if you hit the circle button to go back, you will go back to where you were at, and there's the items. They're back in your inventory. And so this is a really nice way, again, for people that are trying to manage a lot of gear and the things that they want. Another really, really cool thing that we did is the overall scale display of the gear has been increased. So the font size for the numbers related to the power level of each of the pieces of gear are more readable, and the scale of it is a little bit larger. Also the icon sizes. Another little feature is you can see the little pulsating green arrows. It's a quick way to know which pieces of gear are ready for you to upgrade. And this all puts us again in place to support new features in the coming future of how we can expand and support different types of management and different types of features related to gear. And so this is a really, really, really nice way to quick read to see that you have a handful of items that are ready to be upgraded, and that you can then manage those pieces of gear. And then I'm trying to think of what else. Again, we wanted to do something also to expand is compare. One of the things that I found is that I had some issues is like constantly holding the trigger down to compare items. We have a toggle option now. So if you want to toggle on compare, so you would hit the L stick, L3 down, and it will pin it. So what this does is now if you move the cursor and highlight different pieces of gear, it stays pinned. You can actually just leave it up, and then it stays up when you tab between different menus. So if you go to ranged, you'll see that the compare will be there. and that way you can keep tabbing between each of them. So defense, heroic, and yeah. And again, this is just a really fast way, again, to kind of give an actual look into how the gear compares to it. And if that's a meaningful thing to you and your play style, you can just leave it on. Another thing that we added was stats, is that we wanted to set us up to continually improve the display of stats. And this is getting us there. I know that we have more work to do to kind of keep improving how stats are displayed, but if you do R stick down, it will pin to the screen your actual list, and it's laid out nicer than the previous UI, where it's a little bit clearer about what it means and how things are nested underneath intensity, for example, resolve, and you can see how those things kind of get you to your value. There's more work that to come on that, but this sets us up for a really good way to allow you to kind of see those overall stats, and it will stay pinned. So then again, you can peruse and look through all your gear and see if you can find a new piece of gear that is actually going to give you enhancements to your hero stat. And then I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so much that we did. Yeah. So we still support equipping best. So the control scheme is action-packed. Yes, I know it will be something to get used to. Your muscle memory of what the previous UX and UI was, and that now we have this equip state and manage state, and it is an extra layer to it, but it's a meaningful change that it's setting us up for the future. It's setting us up to give you all the feature sets that you've wanted so much. And so this is just, again, the start to a great change and a great future for how we want to handle gear. And so with that, I think we can then kind of start talking about other parts of the character menu and what it's setting us up for. So, we talked about kind of how this loadout, your character page is set up. We have what your character looks like. We have what makes up your hero's gear, your stats. Another section is we wanted to bring more exposure to your challenge card, letting people know where they're at in their progress is actually just laying it out nicely to tell you where you're at and what your next rewards are. Because again, I think it was the second to last tab in the old UI. This just, again, surfaces it and sets us up for the future. And then takedowns. Takedowns is, I know, something that we all love. Some really beautiful takedowns have been coming out lately. Is we wanted to expand the amount that you can have equipped. And so we expanded it to support 8. And so that way the user can go in, select up to 8 different takedowns, and that's their rotation. Or if for photo mode lovers, they can, if they want to catch a really specific shot, you can manage your takedowns to make sure you only have that one specific takedown equipped. So that way you can easily do that same takedown over and over again if you're trying to get a really nice shot that you love. And now I know a question would be like, why is comics on the screen? Why is this here? And so a thing that I really wanted people to understand is comics are a thing that actually impact your hero. And that's something that no one actually realizes, is that they have perks to them. And this does help set us up for the future to do more with comics and make it more meaningful to your actual character's build. And so having this a part and represented on the character page and a part of the loadout is very meaningful towards setting us up to support more things.
So this is called the Royal Legacy outfit. We wanted to pay homage to ancient Wakandan culture. If you look back to Black Panther 1 million BC, those comic series, it is very reminiscent of what this looks like, but we added in some things from how he looked when Shuri was Black Panther into one outfit. So this is totally inspired by multiple comics, and we just wanted to make sure to have something to pay homage to his culture. This is the Royal Legacy outfit, And for everyone who wants to post it on Twitter right now, I am going to post it on Twitter literally right now. So no need to capture any of this because I'm going to click tweet in just a bit as I bring up my Twitter on the official account. Give me a few seconds. All right. It is tweeted. You guys actually saw me tweet something from the official account. All right. With that said, yeah, I think we're gonna call it.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stephen, for joining.
Yeah. It was fun.
All right. Bye, everyone.